All right, so are you ready to kind of take a look into the future of the European car market?
Yeah.
Forget the flying cars we've all been promised.
Yeah.
This is about a fundamental shift in how vehicles are made, what powers them, and even how they think.
Really?
Yeah, we're diving into excerpts from a business podcast. It's called Haptic Horizons.
Okay.
It was put together by a consulting group. And let me tell you, they paint a picture of a European Union completely ready to just overhaul the automotive industry.
Wow.
Yeah, decarbonization, digitalization, competitiveness, you know, those are the big words we're working with here today.
What's interesting is Europe isn't just kind of dipping their toes in the water. They're going all in on a complete transformation of their entire vehicle market.
Yeah.
It's about way more than just replacing your gas guzzler with an electric vehicle. This is like
hmm
a systemic change that's going to impact everyone. I mean, from the manufacturers and suppliers down to the everyday driver.
Exactly. And Haptic Horizons really lays out how this ambitious plan from the European Commission, the EU's executive branch, will unfold. And one of the things that jumps out is the timeline. They're aiming for a 100% reduction in new gasoline car sales by 2035.
Wow.
That's a much faster phase out than what we're seeing anywhere else in the world.
It is, yeah. It really has some ambitious goals woven throughout it. You're looking at a huge push for widespread adoption of electric vehicles, massive investments in digital technologies for cars, and a real focus on making sure Europe stays at the forefront of automotive innovation.
So let's break down this plan a little bit. Let's start with decarbonization and electrification. How are they planning to really kick fossil fuels to the curb?
Well, they're starting with policies that are going to make electric vehicles a much more attractive option.
Right.
These could include things like tax breaks and subsidies to lower the cost for people,
Okay.
but it doesn't stop there. They're also looking to build out a huge charging infrastructure across the continent so you'll never be far from a charge.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the cars on the road, right? They're also aiming to make the manufacturing process more sustainable, too.
Yeah, you got it. It's a multi-pronged approach to going green.
Okay.
From how the cars are made to how they're powered. And, it's not just about being eco-conscious, although that's a major driving factor.
Right.
It's also about reducing Europe's reliance on foreign oil, making their energy system more self-sufficient, and, maybe even becoming a major exporter of electric vehicle technology.
Okay. Now, that's a big picture I think we can all get behind. Now, this podcast also dives into this thing they call the digital transformation of vehicles.
Right.
What exactly does that even mean for our cars? Are we just talking about adding Wi-Fi to every minivan?
Oh, it goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
Think about artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, big data, all that stuff, all of these technologies integrated into the vehicles of the future.
Right.
The goal is to make them safer, way more efficient, and, honestly, just more fun to drive.
Okay, I think this is where things start to get really interesting for me.
Yeah.
So we're talking about cars that are basically rolling computers.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can kind of see the potential, but how does that play out in the real world?
Think of it this way. You've got these AI-powered driver assistance systems that can react to potential hazards way faster than any human,
Right.
potentially reducing accidents.
Wow.
And then you've got vehicles being able to communicate with each other and the infrastructure around them thanks to the Internet of Things. So you could see traffic flow optimized and congestion reduced. It's not just fancy gadgets. It's about really changing how we think about safety and efficiency on the road.
So Europe is setting this high bar for the future of driving. It sounds like a big part of their motivation is making sure Europe stays competitive on a global scale.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Europe has this long history when it comes to building really high-quality cars. And they're determined to keep that reputation. They're putting money into research and development, they're helping companies integrate all this new technology, and they're making sure that their supply chains are strong and reliable.
Okay.
They know if they don't embrace these changes, they're going to fall behind in the global market.
Yeah.
And they don't want to do that.
So it sounds like Europe is making some pretty bold moves.
Yeah.
But it can't be an easy transition for the companies.
Yeah.
What does it all mean for the businesses that make up the auto industry?
Yeah, it's going to be a major adjustment period. Think about the manufacturers.
Right.
They're facing like a complete overhaul of their whole production process.
Yeah.
They're going to have to transition from traditional combustion engines to electric powertrains
But
and
sure,
quickly.
yeah.
Plus, on top of that, they'll need to integrate all these digital technologies,
Yeah.
not just into the vehicles, but into the manufacturing processes themselves.
Okay, so that makes sense for the big car companies.
Mhm.
But what about all the other businesses in the automotive ecosystem?
Mhm.
What's in store for the suppliers and the service providers, the whole network?
I think for those who are ready to adapt, it's a massive opportunity.
Yeah.
The electric vehicle ecosystem needs a whole new support structure.
Okay.
Think about the companies that make batteries or developing the charging infrastructure
Right.
or the software solutions for all these connected cars.
Right.
There's a whole new market here ready for those who are ready to jump in.
But with such a radical shift, there are bound to be some challenges along the way.
Of course.
Can Europe really pull off this automotive revolution?
I mean, when you try to revolutionize an entire industry, you're going to run into roadblocks.
Yeah.
One concern is supply chains getting disrupted.
Oh, yeah.
As the demand for these materials and components skyrockets,
Right.
the supply might struggle to keep up.
Makes sense.
And companies may have a hard time absorbing the costs of transitioning to all this greener and digital technology.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. It sounds like companies are going to have to be really strategic to not only survive,
Yeah,
but actually thrive during this transition.
for sure.
So what are the winning strategies?
Yeah.
What separates the companies that are going to succeed here from those that are going to get left behind?
The companies that come out on top are going to be the ones that really embrace data-driven decision-making.
Okay.
Think about it. AI and analytics can help optimize operations,
Right.
understand all the customer trends,
Right.
and anticipate market shifts before they even happen.
Right.
So this data-driven agility is going to be crucial.
So it's about staying informed and being able to kind of pivot as needed.
Yeah.
But I imagine that data alone isn't enough.
You're right.
What other strategies will give these companies an edge in this landscape?
Another key strategy is going to be collaboration.
Okay.
Strategic partnerships, even sharing resources
Yeah.
to mitigate risk and speed up innovation. This could involve joint ventures or knowledge sharing
Right.
or even co-developing technologies.
Right.
In this new era, the companies that try to go it alone
Yeah.
are going to find themselves falling behind.
It sounds like this is a time when working together is going to be more important than ever.
Exactly. And let's not forget the human element.
Okay.
Companies need to invest in upskilling their workforce,
Yeah.
training people to work with this new technology
Yeah.
and adapt to this really rapidly changing landscape.
Yeah.
It's people that are going to drive this transformation.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
What kind of skills will be most important?
Well, obviously, technical skills are going to be crucial,
Right.
but so is adaptability.
Okay.
And, a commitment to lifelong learning.
Fine.
This industry will keep evolving at a crazy pace.
Right.
And employees need to be ready to embrace change
Yeah.
and constantly update their skill set.
So it's not just learning to operate the new machines. It's about fostering this culture of innovation
Exactly.
within the company.
Precisely. And that brings us to regulations.
Okay.
The European Commission's plan will create a whole new regulatory landscape
Right.
designed to incentivize the adoption of these sustainable and digitally driven technologies.
So these regulations aren't just about setting limits.
No.
They're about actively shaping the market and pushing it in a certain direction.
Yeah, it's like setting the rules of the game for
Right.
this new era of the auto industry.
Okay.
They're creating a level playing field
Right.
for innovation,
Right.
ensuring fair competition,
Okay.
and ultimately steering the industry towards this more sustainable future.
Okay, so we've talked about the challenges and opportunities for businesses.
Right.
But what does all this mean for the average driver?
Well,
How will this change the experience of owning and driving a car?
for one, you can expect electric vehicles to be everywhere.
Right.
Imagine charging stations being as common as gas stations are today. And with the advancements in battery technology range, anxiety will be a thing of the past.
So no more worrying about running out of juice.
Exactly.
That's one of the big things holding a lot of people back.
I know.
What about the actual driving experience itself? How will all this digital tech change how we interact with our cars?
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
You'll get real-time traffic updates,
Oh, wow.
personalized route recommendations.
Okay.
You'll avoid congestion and save time on your commute.
Right.
Your car will automatically adjust the settings to your preferences,
Oh, wow.
from your seat position to music selection.
That sounds pretty futuristic.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder about privacy, though.
Right.
All this data about our driving habits and preferences, where does it all go?
That's a great question.
And who has access to it?
That's a really important question, and one that regulators and industry leaders need to figure out very carefully.
Okay.
Transparency and data security will be absolutely crucial for the public to trust all this. As these technologies become more common,
It seems like Europe is really leading the charge on this.
yeah,
What about the rest of the world? Are other countries following?
I think a lot of countries are watching Europe
Yeah.
and considering similar policies.
Okay.
China, for example, is already investing a lot in electric vehicle infrastructure,
Right.
and they've become a major player in the global market.
So this isn't just a European thing.
No.
It's a global trend.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of the larger ripple effects that we might see? How will this impact areas beyond just the auto industry?
Well, consider the impact on energy markets.
Okay.
As the demand for oil declines, we could see a shift towards more renewables,
Yeah.
accelerating the transition to cleaner energy.
That could have massive geopolitical ramifications as well.
Yeah,
Less reliance on oil-producing countries.
right.
That could really shift things.
It could shift the balance of power on a global scale.
Wow.
And, on a societal level, this could lead to changes in how we plan cities and build infrastructure.
Okay.
As cities adapt to this new era of transportation,
Right.
we could see revitalized public transit,
Yeah.
more walkable cities,
Okay.
and less traffic.
It feels like we're on the verge of a massive shift.
Yeah.
Not just a technological one,
Yeah.
but societal.
Right. It's about rethinking how we live and work and move around.
Right.
And recognizing that the auto industry isn't just about building cars anymore. It's
Yeah.
about creating solutions for
Right.
a more sustainable and intelligent future.
The implications are huge.
Yeah, they go way beyond the cars themselves.
Yeah, it's fascinating to think how these changes could reshape, not just transportation, but entire cities and societies.
Yeah.
Circling back to the Haptic Horizons podcast,
Mhm.
they mentioned this group, Haptic R&D Consulting.
Right.
What's their role in all this?
They're basically this specialized consulting firm
Oh, okay.
that helps businesses navigate these huge transformations in industries.
Right.
They do audits.
Okay.
They facilitate technology transfers.
Right.
And they provide guidance to companies that are just trying to make sense of this new landscape.
So they're like the expert guides
Yeah,
for businesses trying to not just survive, but thrive in this new world.
exactly.
What makes their perspective valuable?
Well, they're working with companies directly.
Okay.
So they're seeing firsthand all the challenges and opportunities coming out of this. It's not just theoretical for them.
Right.
They're right there in the thick of it, helping businesses adapt
Okay.
and innovate.
What was their main takeaway? What was the call to action for all these businesses?
I think their message was pretty clear.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in this industry, now is the time to embrace change.
Right.
Don't get left behind.
Okay.
This is a chance to be part of something huge.
Yeah.
They urged companies to invest in innovation,
Yeah.
collaborate with others,
Okay.
and use data to make smart decisions.
Right. It sounds like they're really emphasizing that this isn't just, a technology shift,
Yeah.
but a cultural one as well.
Yeah.
Companies have to be open to new ways of thinking
Right.
if they want to succeed.
Exactly. And they stressed investing in workforce development.
Right.
The skills gap is a huge challenge,
Okay.
and companies need to train employees for the jobs of the future.
Yeah.
They can't rely on old methods and expect to stay competitive.
It's wild how decisions made today are going to have such long-lasting consequences.
Yeah.
The auto industry is at a crossroads,
Yeah, it is.
and the path it chooses is going to impact us for years.
Definitely. And it's not just the auto industry at stake here.
Right.
This has implications for energy, the environment, our cities,
Right.
our way of life.
Yeah, it really highlights how interconnected everything is.
Yeah.
We can't afford to think in these little bubbles anymore.
Right.
Everything impacts everything else. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all this?
I think the key takeaway is that this transformation is happening now. It's
Yeah.
not some future thing.
Right.
It's unfolding right now.
Right in front of us.
Yeah. The question isn't if it will happen.
Yeah.
It's how we're going to shape it.
Right.
So this is an invitation to get involved.
Yeah.
To not just sit back and watch.
Yeah, it's a call to action.
Yeah.
To be informed, to be part of the conversation, and to think about how we can each contribute
Exactly.
to a better future for everyone.
It's about embracing the challenges.
Right.
seizing the opportunities, and realizing that we have the power to shape the future.
Yeah.
To borrow a phrase from Haptic Horizons, it's time to reinvent the wheel.
Oh, I have
Not
one of
just
that.
the technology, but also our mindset and our vision for the future.
Reinventing the wheel, not just for cars, but for the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with me.
Of course, it was fun.
And until next time, keep those wheels turning.